The world's most comfortable shoes are made of wool. Even Tab Magazine said so. The Wool Runner is your go-to lace-up shoe for everywhere you go. Flexible, supportive, and light as a feather, they take you seamlessly through your entire day. The Wool Lounger, it's a breathable, lightweight, slip-on shoe that's perfect for everything from a red-eye trip across the country or your favorite sport event. Comfort, style, and sustainability do not have to be mutually exclusive. Allbirds is dedicated to making stylish, comfortable footwear using premium natural materials designed for life's everyday adventures. Less is more, which is why Allbirds doesn't include any unnecessary logos or detailing. Instead, Allbirds designs the simplest, most comfortable shoe they could using premium sustainable materials without the premium price. Allbirds textile is made from superfine New Zealand merino wool using fibers that are 20% the diameter of a human hair. Think about that. So unlike the wool you may be used to, Allbirds breathable fabric regulates temperature and moisture without any itch. Allbirds merino wool is ZQ certified. That means it meets the stringent standards of sustainable farming and animal welfare. In other words, no sheep were harmed in the making of these shoes. With the holidays right around the corner, it's time to consider Allbirds as a gift for someone on your list or just for yourself. They're available in a variety of new colors. You can find the perfect pair for you at allbirds.com.
Want an easy way to see if you could save money on car insurance? Geico gives you 3. Call 1-800-947-AUTO. Go online to geico.com or stop by the Geico office nearest you. 3 ways you could save 15% or more.
And now, Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio.
When I pop the trunk, head the deck. Y'all pop the trunk, I pop the hood. Now act stupid, I'll pop the trunk. Now give me a boom.
He is Jalen Rose.
What up, though?
I'm David Jacoby.
And on the cool check-in, center stage on the mic.
Where should we put it?
And we're putting it on wax.
We're Jalen and Jacoby on ESPN Radio. What do we do?
Get the people!
Yes.
What?
Yes.
They
yes.
want.
It's Friday. We got a lot of games this weekend in the NBA, and I'm very excited for it. Kawhi Leonard officially listed as questionable for Game 3 between the Spurs and the Warriors. Do you think Kawhi will play?
I don't mean to be a buzzkill, but I don't think he's going to play.
Really?
It's different when you're covering a game and you're watching it on TV versus when you're in the building because you get to feel the body language and the energy from everybody as all situations take side. And as I saw Kawhi injure his ankle for the 3rd time in the week, it made me start to really pay attention to who was in the building. Different people from the front office, different people from the coaching staff, how teammates and everybody affiliated with the Spurs team was moving. And I was like, this is a franchise that already ushered in the safety of players and resting and valuing the marathon with Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili. And they're already down 2 games against the Golden State Warriors.
And Tony Parker.
So if he's 99%, you don't put him out there.
Really?
No.
Here's why. You don't wish for this to happen. But who wants to go to sleep at night if he's somewhat hobbled and all of a sudden he gets out there again and all of a sudden he twists his ankle for the 4th time in 10 days?
And that's the thing is Popovich has done this. You remember when he initially hurt his ankle, they did put him back in the game. He couldn't go, so then they took him out. So they already rolled the dice once with him. And then they sit him for a game. They beat the Rockets in Game 6. Game 1, they put him out there. He's playing great. He hurts his ankle. They keep him in the game, and then the next possession he hurts his ankle again. There's got to be a little part of Coach Popovich that says to himself, I wish I played that a little differently. Perhaps I should have played that differently. And that has to be in the back of your mind as you head into Game 3 if you're Coach Popovich.
Especially when he makes a jump shot and he steps on a teammate's foot that's sitting on the bench.
Yeah. We need to go to the tape on that one. I've heard it was David Lee. I've also heard that his foot just buckled and then it didn't bounce on anybody. But something tells me that the Spurs aren't looking at that tape too closely.
No.
And they're also going to be very careful of where their feet are on the bench from now moving forward.
Yeah.
That's like a fart in the studio. We don't have to wonder where it came from.
That would be me.
Now, if he's ready to go, he'll be out there. I personally think don't be surprised if he doesn't play.
Sometimes athletes get a little too comfortable around microphones. They say something that maybe they shouldn't. That happened to Mr. Bradley Beal. After getting bounced by the Celtics in Game 7, Bradley Beal said this, quote, Cleveland didn't want to see us. I always said that. I felt like that's the reason they didn't play us in the second round. They didn't want to see us in the second round. If they were going to go down, they were going to go down in the conference finals. They didn't want to go down in the second round.
I love confidence, but that's being naive.
Is he serious? Does he think that the Cleveland Cavaliers intentionally dropped down to the second seed in the Eastern Conference to avoid the Washington Wizards?
What? He can't prove that. And
does he have to? That's not what happened.
And also, that's one of those, the older you get, the longer the walk was to school things. It's like we went 7 versus the Celtics, and they let Cleveland blow them out. We would have gave them a better game.
We would have definitely given him a better game, yep. Do you remember at the end of the regular season, that overtime game against the Hawks? The Cleveland Cavaliers were trying to get the number 1 seed. They were. They were not trying to avoid Marcin Gortat and the Washington Wizards.
The Wizards could be playing in the conference finals. Couldn't slow down the man bun.
Couldn't slow down the man bun. The man bun and the bad beard. He's just someone get him some clippers. Can we do that? Can someone just get him some clippers? Just be like, Kelly, just get familiar with
But
these.
here's the thing. You ready for this? Just retire Kelly Olynyk's number.
They should.
In Boston.
They should.
We know he's going to be there forever.
It was a great 48 hours they had.
He'll be there
Kelly
forever.
Olynyk won Game 7. They got the number 1 pick, and then Cleveland came to town.
They're going to talk about him when he retired like he Tommy Heinsohn or something.
Kobe Bryant retweeted a request from a student in order to get an entire class out of taking a final test. You run a school in Detroit. Do you co-sign this behavior from Kobe Bryant?
I co-signed what Kobe did because the students in the school were clearly reaching out to him, and it seemed like it was tongue-in-cheek, not realizing that he would actually respond, and he did, which is awesome.
I blame the teacher. How are you going to make that deal? There's a picture of him handshaking, the whole thing. Come on, teacher. And you know they had to take the test like a week later.
You know they still took it.
You know they're still taking the test, and they're just going to have to take it on Tuesday instead of Wednesday
Correct.
or whatever.
Bought us a couple of more days.
Yeah, that's still nice. It's always nice when you're a student get a couple more days.
I like this retired Black Mamba.
He's looser. You know, his musecage just seems to be a lot more happy. I just wanted to use musecage. You're the Celtics' Danny Ainge. You've got the number 1 pick. You see what's happening in front of you with the Cleveland Cavaliers in the Celtics series. What do you do, Jalen Rose?
I'll tell you what I see in front of me. No player in the draft that resembles Hakeem the Dream.
Okay.
Tim Duncan. Or LeBron James. So you know what I'm doing? I'm trading it.
Gone.
Because I need front court help. I like my starting back court. Isaiah Thomas and Avery Bradley. If we can sign Gordon Hayward, we good.
1 through 3, you're good.
We still need somebody to play alongside Al Horford. You know who starts alongside of him?
Amir Johnson.
Look at his stats when you get a chance.
Oh, I've seen his stats. He was great 3 years ago with the Raptors for a couple months. He was excellent. I understand how he ended up in the Garden, but he has not performed the way they expected him to. What about this? I know you still have ties to the Pacers franchise. That's where you sort of like, you know, the zenith of your NBA career was there in Indianapolis. With the news that Paul George didn't make the All-NBA team, they no longer can give him a supermax contract. There's a lot of different ways this can go if you are the Pacers. You can try to build a team around him now. You can try to shop him in a trade. Or you can just kind of say, let's let this play out. Maybe he makes All-NBA next year, and then we can give him a supermax.
So a couple of teams in this dynamic seem to be the Pacers, who he's under contract with for another year. Mm-hmm. I don't move him. I allow this scenario to play out because he's approximately a top 15 player anyway, depending on what list it is. I made him a part of All-NBA. Sure. I think he deserved it over Jimmy Butler, whose team had a lot of dysfunction last year.
And he was a part of it.
We know about the scenario with he and Wade and Rajon Rondo and the Instagram post and just poor leadership, but he did get it together, lead him to the playoffs, and he is a terrific player. But I gave Paul George the edge because of that. And they were a higher playoff seed with a better record, obviously. So if you're the Pacers, you let it play out. Unless, if you're the Lakers, you need to try to come get him right now.
Really?
Before it goes into the season.
prevailing wisdom is that, oh, we got Paul George. He's already signed, sealed, and delivered. We're just going to not give up any assets because he's coming to us in a year's time. We just need to sit pat, and Magic Johnson will make one phone call, and next thing you know, Paul George signs on the dotted line.
Things change too fast in sports. They happen like dog years. You have to get an established all-star on your team that you now can recruit players to come run with. And also have somebody actually represent you in this year's All-Star game, which is going to be played in Los Angeles.
Right here.
A legitimate ball player. That won't be whoever you take with the number 2 pick. So now if you have Paul to go with your number 2 pick, I'm like, whoever else on the team you want, you can get him. Who you want? You want Ingram? Get him.
Russell?
You want Randall? Get him.
Even Ingram, who's only 20 years old, who's clearly going to gain 20 pounds and 2 more years of experience and be a force in the NBA.
Ill and Al Scratch looked up and down, said, I'll take her.
A rare Ill and Al Scratch reference.
You can have
Where are my homies?
Anybody. Just allow me to keep my number 2 pick and keep Paul. That's where I'm building. And so with those two dynamics at play with those two teams, for the Pacers and the rule, let me just put out the solution that the league was on the right track but the wrong train. You didn't want players to do like KD and leave and it not cost them fiscally earlier in the deal, which is why he left and you instituted this max and this super max. But it can't be because the person made all NBA. It has to be because the person was an all-star. Mm-hmm. So now you're getting the fans, you're getting the coaches, you're getting the players, and you're getting the media having a little slice of the pie about this player for that season. And let me give you a few analogies. The Golden State Warriors have 3 All-NBA performers, but they have 4 All-Stars. Mm-hmm. So in this dynamic, Klay Thompson wouldn't get that Supermax. Look at the San Antonio Spurs. Kawhi Leonard, All-NBA, All-Star clearly. He's your Supermax guy. LaMarcus Aldridge didn't make the All-Star team.
Not a Supermax guy.
That's how you clearly distinguish it for Gordon Hayward that made the All-Star team the first time, for Paul George, who's been terrific in Indiana. These guys were drafted by those teams, nurtured, put themselves in position to become great players, small market teams that have never won a championship, and all of a sudden you lose the player based on a rule like this that becomes a technicality. Man, it could really influence the balance of power. I think it should go from only being All-NBA to All-Star.
Blue Moon is brewed with Valencia orange peel and a touch of coriander. It's a creative twist on a Belgian-style wheat ale for a taste that shines brighter. Taste responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
I didn't put this together until today when they started talking about it. I never really just connected these dots. Isaiah Thomas played his college basketball at the University of Washington. The Celtics have the number 1 pick in the draft. And it's not one of those who's going to go number 1 years. It's, they're going to pick Markelle Fultz. Markelle Fultz is the number 1 pick. He also went to Washington. Isaiah Thomas and Markelle Fultz have been discussing things, they say they talk all the time. They're really good friends. Do you think that relationship will influence what the Celtics do with the number 1 pick?
No. Because Danny Ainge has earned the equity based on multiple moves that he's made, whether it's acquiring Ray Allen and Ray Allen and Kevin Garnett to play with Paul Pierce and form a big 3 and continue to build that team to not only be a champion but to contend for a couple of years. How he remixed the roster, fleeced the Phoenix Suns for Isaiah Thomas, did a terrific job of signing Al Horford as an outright all-star level free agent. Mm-hmm. Basically, ski mask and gloves type of deal with the Nets and Billy King.
Still paying off.
To the point where now they're the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs that we don't think have a chance to win. Never heard of that before. No. But also had the number 1 pick in the draft.
Now, and then next year, Aaron, do you know what the Nets got for that? Washed Kevin Garnett and washed Paul Pierce.
How about this? They're getting number 1 draft picks for Paul and Garnett, 2 guys working in the media. Mm-hmm. Like, seriously. Like this was like all good just a week ago.
Here's the thing I don't really understand. Fultz is sort of, the number 1 spot looks like it's going to go to him. He's not guaranteed, but I would say 75% chance that he will be the number 1 pick in this year's NBA draft. Let's imagine that the Celtics are on wax, being reported they're focused on getting Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward wasn't an All-NBA, can't get a Supermax contract. Let's imagine Gordon Hayward goes to the Celtics. If you have Isaiah Thomas, you spend the pick on Markelle Fultz, and then you bring in Gordon Hayward, you still haven't solved their glaring problem, which is rebounding in the front court.
I remember doing interviews in the Bay Area back in the day when Kevin Love was with the Timberwolves. And people were saying that they should trade Clay for Love.
Of course, I remember that.
And I was standing on the table like never break up the Splash Brothers. And I could give you 50 reasons why, but I'm going to give you one that people always forget. When the game starts, you know who Clay's guarding?
Point guard.
Steph's man. Mm-hmm. When the Boston Celtics play every night, you know who's guarding his man? Isaiah Thomas. You know who's guarding Isaiah Thomas's man?
Bradley.
Avery Bradley. You need to keep him. See, that's his bulldog. That's his bodyguard.
And Smart's the backup.
What gets overlooked is that we're trying to play fantasy basketball. You keep Steph and Clay. You keep Isaiah and Bradley. You trade the pick.
You have to trade the pick.
That's
and
what
you know what
do.
they need? They need someone who's going to get you some rebounds and going to play some defense.
Front.
Yes.
It's one thing if you're like, we need a wing. We like Jaylen Brown, but he didn't become the player initially that we felt like he could, so we're going to take Tatum or Jackson. But you need another big that's going to play up front with Al Horford to give you quality minutes at the 4 or 5 that's already in the league, that you know what you're going to get for. Mm-hmm. You know what you're going to get from them. Use that number 1 pick to catapult you into the next situation.
When you watch the Celtics, it does get a little frustrating as someone who's seen a lot of Celtics games. There's just a lot of minutes for Olynyk. There's a lot of minutes for Amir Johnson. And it's just like a lot of those. You're like, wait a second, like Amir Johnson has not really impressed me for about 3 years.
How about this? He starts.
Yep. And then Jerebko gets minutes. It's not really in the playoffs, but Jerebko's out there a lot. It's just a lot of just kind of like, really? This is the best team in the Eastern Conference right here? I'm not sure I believe that. Is Steph Curry back to the Steph Curry form that we saw a year ago?
Shh. Nobody's paying attention. I'm watching the game like...
Did he just hit a 3 and then steal the inbound and then hit another 3?
Run back on defense before the ball was even halfway in the air? Yeah. Have 19 so fast in the third quarter? I was eating. We did our halftime. We ordered some food. The food came. I said I'm about to eat. I'm like, did he just score 19 straight points?
Before I put salt and pepper on
this? I'm like, what just happened? He's not playing. The thing about Steph, and I'm just going to put it out there, so many people, media, fans, we all take people's appearance sometimes for toughness. Like if you got a mean mug, or how you wear your hair, or how you wear your pants, or whatever you rock.
You pretend that you don't see that doesn't influence you, but it influences everybody to some degree.
Subliminally, we judge people based on their appearance, and we try to relate that to their toughness.
Yes.
And that gets overlooked with Steph. I remember being in Houston when he did a helicopter fall on his shoulder and neck.
He landed on his head.
And I looked over to his mom, who was like 200 feet away from me. I was horrified. She was like, "Get up, Steph!" I'm like, okay.
That's how they do it in the Curry
household,
like
something
I guess.
Jeannie Rose would say. She knows her boy. I'm thinking he might have a concussion, might be done for the series, might have a separated shoulder. You know what he does? Goes in the back, jumps a little bit, in place, he comes back out on the floor. We don't attach that to his legend like we would do normal great players or MVP caliber players. And so last year, call a spade a spade. The Cleveland Cavaliers won fair and square, just like the Warriors won fair and square the year before.
Sure.
But the year before, Kyrie was hurt.
So was Kevin Love.
He wasn't out there. And last year, Steph was hurt.
A little bit.
Draymond got suspended.
Sure did.
It happens. Luck is a part of it. So now both teams hopefully will be healthy on this collision course, and Steph is leading the way so far.
Blue Moon is brewed with Valencia orange peel and a touch of coriander. It's a creative twist on a Belgian-style wheat ale for a taste that shines brighter. Taste responsibly. Blue Moon Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Jalen, It's time for soft move or boss move. Everybody knows how it works. Here we go. Shaquille O'Neal, in a clip that has now gone viral, was shown absolutely beasting a regular civilian in a pickup basketball game. Soft move or boss move?
That move is called playing bully ball, so it has to be a boss
That's
move.
That's a boss move. Exactly. It's kind of like, well, you're the one who tried to guard Shaquille O'Neal in the paint. That's going to happen to you. Have you seen Shaquille O'Neal play basketball? He's not going to up and under you like Kevin McHale. That's not what he does. He is going to push you out of the way and then dunk. Boss move for sure. I kind of liked it. I kind of did. It kind of made me want to play pickup basketball against Shaquille O'Neal. I think it would be a lot of fun. He's got such a nice spirit. You know what I mean? For someone that's like so big and physically imposing and does that to someone on a basketball court, seems like he does it with a smile.
You got to grab that front arm.
That's what you said when you saw it. Right when you saw it, you said grab the front arm. What happens then? Seems like you're just going to go for a ride.
He falls forward.
Okay, take him down. Here's the thing. If I grab the right arm, he just lifts me up on his right arm and then dunks me into the basket. Next, we have this. DeMarcus Cousins on social media getting his toenails painted by his daughter.
Quality time with the kids.
Soft move or boss move? That's a boss move. Get it? What about getting your toenails painted just at a nail salon?
Soft move.
Getting your toenails painted by your daughter.
Boss move.
Here's the thing, though. I saw the picture. I would like her to clean it up a little bit, though. You know what I mean? like just let's stay inside the lines, all right? If you're gonna paint my toenails, let's stay inside the lines.
Come on, man. That's like a coloring book or something. Calm down.
Stay inside the lines here. This is my body. This is not a coloring book. Next, we have this. And this one's not as clear as the first two. Jordan Clarkson shared a picture of his bedspread, or someone else probably shared it. And it was Laker themed. There was a couple Laker pillows. There was a Laker throw. There's also an embroidered pillow with his face on it. What? Soft move or boss move?
Soft move.
Gotta be a soft move.
Yep.
Just because you play for the team, always remember your name is on the back.
They could trade you really quick for Paul George.
When you're only known for what you did in the NBA or your sport or your
also dating a
field
Jenner
or endeavor or whatever you do, if you're only known for that, just like if I'm only known for being an athlete or a member of the media, then I failed at life. And what you hope to continue to challenge yourself to be is somebody that doesn't define themselves by what they do, but who they are. That's the hardest distinction we all make every day we look in the mirror.
Well put, Mr. Rose. That being said, it's a soft move. Come on. You can't have your own picture embroidered on a pillow. I know it was a gift. If it's a gift, put it in the closet.
Yep.
Get a real pillow, Jordan Clarkson. Next is my guy Lance. We haven't heard much about my guy Lance ever since he was the only person on the Pacers performing against the Cleveland Cavaliers in that 4-game sweep. He showed up on social media. He was in the sauna. Fully clothed in the sauna. Very concerned about his waves. Fully clothed in the sauna. Soft move or boss move?
Soft move.
That's a soft move.
Yep.
The environment is there to make you hot and warm. You do not need clothes on.
And I hate to say this, based on what he was wearing, it clearly looked like that's what he came with. So he probably walked out of there with.
You think it's a sweaty, soaked, long-sleeve Indiana Pacers team-issued shirt? You know what? If you've been bouncing around the league as much as he has, and you got Chinese teams calling your agent, if you give me a team-issued shirt, I'm never taking it off, just like Lance Stevenson. So wearing clothes in the sauna is a soft move. We both agree there. However, being overly concerned about your waves in the sauna, soft move or boss move?
Being overly concerned about your waves at any time is a boss move.
Yep.
How have your waves been lately?
They are the best that they have been, but they're struggling today.
There's still room for improvement. They're struggling
today.
You got countdown tomorrow. Let's get a wave cap going.
And you know what I think about now, Lance? I was in the sauna the last couple of days.
Or maybe that has something to do with it.
What?
Did you wear clothes?
No.
Because that's a soft move. I'm curious to hear what you say about this one. Tom Brady signed a deal to endorse Aston Martin vehicles.
How much?
I don't know how much he got paid, but these cars are $212,000 a piece.
First off, that's a boss move. Let me just tell you this. Hit the brakes, too.
Why'd you get so excited? I'm nervous. Don't get fired.
A couple of things. I always appreciate when a person is endorsing a product that they would clearly use.
Okay.
And this fits. Tom Brady, on and off the field. That's one. Two, this is a perfect analogy when people talk about the price point of the ball basketball shoe. It's too expensive. So, should Tom Brady not be endorsing a car that costs $300,000?
Probably. I wouldn't do it.
I would.
There's such a small slice of the population. We're talking about 0.0000001% of the population that can afford this type of vehicle. Probably 0.0000001%. So why are you using your brand to speak to that small minority, upper echelon, wealthy class?
Do we seriously have to sit here and talk about the integrity of appearances and endorsements for people that are getting paid?
Not suppose not. Still a soft move in my book. LeBron was asked if he's more at ease this year than previous years in the playoff because he's experienced, they're playing well. He said no. He denied it. He said that he still can't sleep. Soft move or boss move?
Telling the truth is always a boss move. He just got to drink more vino.
That's what I'm thinking. He said that after the game he needs to drink some vino. You know, you do half a bottle of red, you'll be asleep. No matter what time of day it is, you will be asleep, LeBron.
And here's the thing. Before you go to bed, make sure you brush your teeth.
Yeah, you don't want to wake up the next
morning.
Purple tongue, purple teeth.
Yes, indeed.
That's gross. Finally, this. There was a picture of A-Rod. Excellent broadcaster. Member of a power couple. Two things we support here at Jalen Jacoby. Broadcasting and power couples. And he had this book of his notes open. It was just a photo of him broadcasting a game. But then someone zoomed in on his notes. And just written there randomly, it just says this. Birth control. What? Soft move or boss move?
Boss move.
Do you think that was a note for the game or for the game of life?
That was for the game of life. He's dating J-Lo now.
Yep.
He's being careful about how they matriculate through this relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And he was thinking of all of the bulletins that he may need to consider if a situation arises.
Birth control. Boss move. Yep. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for listening on ESPN Radio, for watching
Thank
on
you.
ESPN2 and ESPN News, and subscribing to the
Thank
Jalen
you.
and Jacoby podcast.
You're far too kind.